Hello guys, this is Kristen from Massively Tiny Stitches, coming to you with another stitch with me as I'm going to get started here. Before I do that though, I did get up to 80% on Mini Princess's sleep, so this is what she looks like at technically now 80% and 80.37%. Is what she's looking like. So new milestone unlocked, but then I'm gonna adjust all of the stuff to get me ready to go for my stitching. So I'm gonna pause real quick as I get this rolled back up into what I need for today in order to actually work. But here we are at 80%. Alrighty, I'm all set up now to be able to do some actual stitching. So I'm gonna get this going. We'll see how far we get today. I apologize for the delay, guys. It's been a hot minute since I've been here. I think I said this in my last video, but again, it's been too long that I kind of actually don't remember. I ended up going on vacation. It was a 4-day vacation with my family to go see my main family, my family that lives back in Minnesota. We actually went all out to California to go visit extended family. So we were out there for a few days, and then coming back, I was then swamped by work, as things happen when you're salaried. So I ended up just working a lot this last week and trying to get stuff done, but I'm back now. Trying to again catch up and do what we need to on our end. But yeah, while I was out, I did reach that 80% milestone, so that's another step in the right direction. It wasn't quite by the first of the month, so I didn't quite get 10% done for the month, but you know, I still did 9.5% in the month, which is still very good. I got caught up a little bit more towards that August 1st deadline. I met after this week I might no longer be caught up, but I had gotten to like August 9th or so was what it was predicting I would be done. So I'm getting there. I did also kind of get burnt out by how much, because I took this one with me on vacation, which meant I didn't switch at all, which for me is not a good thing in terms of getting burnt out on a project. So this last week, you know, part of it was work, but the other part of it was just like I just couldn't with this project. I think I got like maybe 200 stitches at the total of last week into this project. So I didn't have the mental space, I didn't have the emotional space, I didn't have the gumption to push through. But yeah, so instead I'm working on it now. Even for Dungeons and Dragons yesterday, I didn't work on this project. I worked on a different one, which you'll see tomorrow, because I'm doing it for my mini masterpiece. We did Dungeons and Dragons a day early too. We did that on Saturday this week because of Mother's Day letting people spend time with their families today, right? So that also helped us to be able to emotionally get caught up. So that project you'll see on the mini masterpiece the next time that I film, and will be that next one. So that'll be cool. It's a different kind of mini masterpiece than the ones that I have been doing, which those have been jewelry pieces so far on the channel. But this is a different option. I showed it briefly on one of my videos for this piece, is that I do try to. I'm not very successful at having all of them done yet. Oh, my dog's wanting some attention. 1 second. She wants to say hello, guys. What's up, baby girl? Hi. Are you ready to lay down? We're taking a pet intermission, right? That's what we're doing. Although I started the monster, so now you're never gonna stop. Okay. Can we lay down? Let's lay down. She decided she wanted love and attention, and then that she wanted to go outside, so I just paused for a second. Now I don't remember what I was saying. It's probably along the line of vacation, being burned out, all of that jazz. So, now back at it. Oh, my mini masterpiece that I was working on yesterday. If you're on my Instagram, that's what it is, my Instagram page, I did a reel the other day because someone had made a comment on one of my videos about, like, what is this that I saw, which I call them my mini trackers, but they are miniature versions of my pieces that I have, my full coverage pieces more specifically, or my full coverage / larger projects, we'll call it that. That I have so much dog hair today. That is a way that I kind of try to use to go through and, like, pick what projects I'm working on and things like that. Well, I fell woefully behind on being able to complete them, so I felt like going back and trying to get more of them caught up. The way that I had originally designed these trackers was that they matched, like, I had completed on as much on them as I had on the actual project. But maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and it might have just been prompted by this piece, I decided that I wanted to change that process to be that I instead have them fully stitched, and that when they are fully stitched is when I can actually work or start that main project, right? So in some ways it gives me an idea about the process of stitching that piece, and it gives me some idea about is this something that I really want to invest the time into. That I'm sorry, I hit you guys. If I don't want to do the tracker, then I'm probably not going to have the motivation to do the full-sized project. Kind of parts of it, so it gives me a little bit of a gauge before I actually jump into that full-size project. So like I said, it gives me a little bit of that indication earlier on in the process before I've invested a bajillion hours. So they're 3,500 usually stitches. Is how big they are typically. Versions of the piece that I chart myself using a charting software. Usually it's Pixel Stitch or Pick to Pat. Kind of go between them of which one I like better at the moment, but that is what you'll see for the mini masterpiece this week. I do have a new piece of, or you've seen it already. I am still working on the griffin in terms of jewelry. That's a mini masterpiece that was on the left side of the project while I was working on the mermaids. That I haven't yet finished, so I'm going to work on that. I have another one planned for a piece of jewelry coming in. So there's a lot of those that are in the ideas works kind of stage that I just but I do want to get that griffin done because that's for my wife, and certainly she still deserves some jewelry, even though my intentions are elsewhere at the moment. As you can see, I'm more following this color than I am anything right now at the moment, and not staying in the same spot, although I'm going to go back to that real quick once this thread is done. I'm getting close to the stage where I can just grab a color and just do a color completion. I like to do that when there's like a single thread left of that color, like a strand's worth, right? So down to like maybe 40 stitches. This one still has 100, so it's not quite there yet, but I'm getting close to that, and getting close to that with several colors. So once I get to that stage of about less than 100 for several of them is usually kind of where I make that distinction, that I'll go back in and just start doing color completions for it. I do have a little bit of a cough, so I keep pausing as well, which doesn't help you guys, but having gone to California, the weather's very different. And so my body was like, what's this thing that you're doing to me? Used to the humidity of the Midwest, that going to drier heat was like, wait, what? So my sinuses got all messed up. Again, still recovering. Which direction do I want to stitch this? I think I want to go right to left, actually. Okay. At the end of the day, though, it was good to see my family. I don't get to see them very often. Coming back, I also then found out that I have a very strong misunderstanding about my role, my vacation benefits, we'll call it that, at work. And so I have been more cautious about taking time off than what the owner intended. So with that, interesting conflict of that I am being more cautious, or I'm following the policy more so than what the boss actually intended. So we're discussing on whether then the policy needs to be rewritten, because I don't think the way that I'm interpreting the policy is unusual. I really don't. I think that most people would interpret it in the way that I do. Is that essentially paid time off is paid time off, and that's the limit that you get, but that's a very limited amount at the practice, because it's a private practice, right? So it's not like there's a lot of alternative revenue streams and things like that you can prepare for in the same way. And so we don't get very much paid time off, parts of it. So in essence, I was being very cautious and with taking time off, which is a good thing for the business. It's not necessarily the best thing for employees, because that means they're working through maybe when they shouldn't, or trying to push through. So from a mental health perspective, and especially being in the mental health field, it's a thing we think about probably more so than other companies about, are you mentally well enough to be at work? So we're negotiating, I'll call it that, negotiating through what these changes would look like. But I would say most people do what I do, which is that we kind of keep a set amount of paid time off in the bank for true emergencies if you don't have a separate sick leave, which our company doesn't have a separate sick leave. So I had 40 hours that are in the bank of just hey, I'm completely sick, I can't come in, I can't do anything. That's when I would use that time, which then meant I really had no time off for the year, which is not what she intended. So trying to figure out what to do on that side. Work is fascinating. But yeah, our friends got together. We played Dungeons and Dragons a day early, so that happened on Saturday this week, instead of being on Sunday. And yeah, planted my garden yesterday. That was actually the big thing that I've done. got all my vegetables in for the year, so, well, at least the first round of vegetables was more expensive than I intended, and certainly, with the grocery prices being what they are as well, the planting your own also became more expensive this year. I think a single, like, I don't even know what the size is. Like, one of those quote-unquote standard sizes, the smaller ones, that are like the first stage plantings. That was like $5.50 at our store, at our local store. So it was like fairly expensive to be able to do that for them. So it's just then a matter of like, do we think that we can get $5 worth of produce out of that size, that plant? So like we often get like tomatoes, peppers, and then like herbs and things along that side is what I got at those. I also got some strawberries, which that was a splurge because that was like $25 for a hanging pot of strawberries. So I spent more than I intended. I also got a bunch of flowers to be able to attract pollinators. Again, just adds to the expenses of it, but if we're gonna have a garden, I would rather have the wildlife sustained a little bit for it. Right, and I want bees to be able to come and pollinate all of the flowers for the vegetables on top of it too. So yeah, a whole bunch of tomatoes. I think I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different tomato plants. Some of which are like cherry tomatoes, some of which are larger tomatoes. And then I have 4 or 5 different pepper plants that I planted for this year. And then the rest are hanging plants or like herbs. So I got like basil and cilantro, because those are ones that we use often. So a small little garden for this year. Usually we do a bit more. We have like berry patches in our yard already those are come back every year, so that's not something to worry about planting every year. But this year I decided I wanted a low-key garden. I don't have the mental space right now. Certainly doing a garden is it's supposed to be relaxation, but I know when I get stressed, I just forget about it. It's terrible, but I do. And when I forget about it, then the plants all die, and then it's a total waste of money. And that's not good. I can't afford to have a total waste of money. And I don't have like automatic sprinklers or things like that, so I have to actually remember to go out and water them every day when it's the hot summer. Nope, I need that higher. But yeah, so it is what it is. So that's my mental space for this year, size garden. Oh, I have a couple colors that are here that don't have many stitches. I'm gonna do those first before I fill in this last kind of bigger one. But yeah, so a cute little, it's a little raised bed on our patio that I have. and gives us a little bit of fresh vegetable that always tastes better than what's at the grocery store. I have become spoiled as time progresses with tomatoes for sure, and that, like, I don't really like store-bought tomatoes anymore, because when they're fresh they just taste so much better, like an insane amount. Like, don't know what tomatoes taste like until you've had patio tomatoes, parts of it. So I might add a couple things later on as well, if I find something that's still reasonably priced that I can keep in a container on the patio instead of going elsewhere in the garden. I do have more garden space that I usually have for planting, and again, I just don't have the mental space right now, and then the idea of having to go walk around and remember other places that I've planted things, it's just not going to happen this year. Nope. So I'm just trying to be, again, cautious with my emotional and mental well-being right now. I am someone who most years will get a depressive episode at some point during the summer. It's just the reality of the way that my brain works. And so I have to be very mindful of that when it comes to taking care of the house. Where did I just put it? Okay. I was trying to do it above the ring light. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Well, that's the hard way of doing that. But yeah, so vegetable garden. I'm curious, what vegetables do most people grow? I find that I don't eat most of the other ones that if I grow them. I don't know why. Because, like, I love broccoli, I love, like, bell peppers. Those are things that our family eats a lot, but I'm not very good at growing. Lettuces and things like that, I find that if I have them in the garden, they turn bitter before I harvest them or eat them because I'm inconsistent with watering and all that jazz. So, not the best option for me as a person. So it ends up with a narrow range of vegetables. I do usually, most years, do like peas or something similar. My wife hates peas. They are the bane of her existence. She very much hates them. So if I plant them, it's just for me, which it doesn't mean not to do it. It just means that I have to have a very limited amount because I don't want to plant something and go through the effort of actually growing them if they're going to go to waste. So at the end of the day, last year we planted a lot of perennials in our front yard. They came up this year absolutely gorgeous. We did a lot of like tulips and lilies and things like that that you have to plant in the fall for the upcoming year. I think I'm gonna plant some more lilies, which are my favorites. Did I just put that in the wrong spot? No. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna plant some more lilies as well. We have a tree in our front yard that there's a ring around it that's almost all lilies. But I was gonna plant some in other areas as well. That those are more later summer plants to have up. But yeah, so we planted a lot of tulips. We planted some giant onions, which are decorative onions as opposed to ones that you grow for bulbs. So those ones are just starting to bloom, which is really fun to us to see. We planted those last year for the first year in the fall, so this is their first blooming. And they are tall and cool, and I like them. They're getting taken over by a whole bunch of weeds in that garden, though, so unfortunately I think I have to pull up all the mulch, throw down some new weed blocker, and then re-put all the mulch into place for us, and I'll probably plant some more when I do that. So there's just a lot of gardening stuff to do every year. Part of me is considering getting a torch to be able to burn off weeds real quick. I know some people do that, and man, that looks like fun. And it seems like a fast way to be able to do that that's environmentally safe. I'm mindful about putting too much chemicals onto the ground. I don't want to damage the wildlife. But I also want it to look good. Lazy and looking good are not a good combination though, guys. Which is exactly what I am as a gardener. I am definitely a lazy gardener. If I could forget things and just they still stay pretty would be my ideal. But that also typically if you're gonna do that version of gardening is a lot more expensive, because that means you have to buy things like weed blocker for underlaying all of the mulch and stuff like that, which harder to expand. I do think this is going to be my last color for a little bit. I did kick the dog out when she was whining to go outside, so I have to go let her back in and do all that stuff, mow the lawn. There's a lot of stuff I gotta do today. I am filming this on Sunday, but I will be uploading it this evening / tomorrow morning for a release tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see what that looks like, but get that processing. This one's gonna be a longer video. I guess if you're this far, you would know that by now, because I'm doing this as a quote-unquote normal speed video, because it's been a little bit, and I had a lot to talk about. Probably my ones for the rest of the week will be shorter. slash sped up videos again, but we'll see. It'll depend on how I'm feeling, how much talking I feel like doing. Of what that looks like. Okay, I think I want to do one more after this, because if I do one more, it'll fill in a lot of these gaps and it will be much more satisfying for me. It won't fill in all of them anyway, though. I don't know. I'm probably gonna stop. You guys will just have to deal with it. Maybe I'll fill in some of the other gaps and then just leave the last one for you guys for the next time. From a filming side of things, I'm thinking this further out view actually works better. It feels more visually stable because I stitch in hand, right? Like things move a little bit. When you're zoomed in, that's so much more dramatic of a movement than truly what it is on my end. It's fairly minimal. I try to keep it at least to a minimum. So I think this zoomed out view works better for stitching in hand. A little bit less motion sickness from moving it around all the time. But maybe that's just my perception on the outside. I don't sit and watch my own videos, so you guys will have to tell me of whether that's true or not. Oh, there were some there. I didn't move my screen fast enough before I cut it off. That's okay. I'll go to the other spot where this is at, because there's more. I'm starting to get concerned about my friend that this one's actually for. I've texted her a few times. She hasn't responded. I'm starting to get to the place of, I guess, wondering if this friendship is fizzling out. She's a friend that we worked together at my previous place of employment. And so it's been almost 2 years of us not working together currently. And so we have to make conscientious efforts of going to see each other and things like that, which is usually like, I don't know, once a month kind of things. And in some ways, I wonder if that's just not enough to sustain our friendship. So I've been thinking about that a lot more as I'm getting closer to the end of this project. It's still for her, right? It's not going to change that, but it's one of those things of like, is this in a weird way going to be marking the end of our friendship? Which I don't want it to. And it would be no what's the way I want to say this? No ill will, right? It's not because we had a falling out, right? But it's you don't see each other in the same way to be able to maintain that friendship. So again, it's that fizzling out version of kind of losing a friend, which I would say is that is the way that I typically will lose friends when they happen, is in that fizzling out side of it. Life gets busy, fully understand that. And if, time and space allows for that friendship to regrow again, that's cool, right? Like, that would be awesome. But it's still sad, right? So, like I said, it's weird because this piece is no longer like, oh, like this is my friend, but it's like, oh, like this is my friend that I very much love and care about. But like, I don't know if it's gonna be that way. Like, will I be able to call her friend for much longer? I don't know. Sorry, sad turn. Told you guys, depressive side of it comes out more in the summer. People always get the winter blues, and I'm just like, dude, like my depressive episodes always hit in the summer. I don't know what it is about it. That's when my brain says I need to feel things fully. Not a bad thing. It's just a part of the rhythm of my life. And it's just interesting. In the mental health field, I follow an atypical rhythm for people. That's okay. Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna call it quits for now. Next time we come back, I'm coming after you guys. You stitches. I'm coming after you. But the next time I work on this piece, I should say, I will be back with a mini stitch, which I'll show you. Here's the back of it. This is the size of the piece. So, and look at my loveliness. I don't care about the backs of these by any means. So I jump around a lot and very rarely stop because it's just so small. But this is what the piece looks like from the back, and I'll show you what it actually looks like from the front when I see you guys tomorrow. Alrighty, guys. Take care, and I will see you on the flip side.